In Tennessee, he lived in movie palaces, and he says in those days you could take a flask of booze, I think he used the word hooch, and you could go sit in the balconies of these great movie palaces and you'd make out with other men and you'd watch the movie over and over again. He goes, there's nothing like making out to a Max Steiner soundtrack. So try it. Franz Waxman is also good to me.
Can I tell you, can I jump in with the Max Steiner story?
Yes.
You know, Betty Davis made a movie called Dark Victory, and she goes blind at the end, and she had made all these movies, and Max Steiner was the musical composer, and he had all these strings and violins, and Betty, at the end of Dark Victory, going blind, had to go up the steps to die. And she said to the director, I think it was Edward Goulding, either I'm going up the steps or Max Steiner's going up the steps, but we're not going up together. So if you ever watch Dark Victory on The Late Show, you'll hear some violins, but not the great blast that Steiner is making.
She muted it.
I worked with Betty,
We'll talk
Miss
about
Davis,
that.
during Iguana.
Yes.
But we can name drop.
But
we all know who Betty Davis is.
Margaret Sullivan and John Garfield were very seriously considered for Stanley and Blanche. And then Hume Cronin mounted a vanity production of Portrait of a Madonna.
After mounting Jessica.
After doing it once. But anyway, and Tennessee and Kazan were invited to that, and they said, that's our Blanche. And so that's how Jessica Tandy got that part. But
and then Kim Hunter, who was Kazan's main squeeze.
for a while. As she said, everybody was Kazan's inamorata for a while.
Before the other one, the blondie, that was in After the Fall.
Barbara Loden.
Yes.
Yes.
While he was married to Molly.
Well, he had the affair. I love how this is becoming very, very Rona Barrett. Now, Kim had the affair with Kazan when
I was going to
married.
say very Sheila Graham.
Well, he was married to Molly when he had the affair with Kim Hunter.
And she was his play reader.
Yes. Okay. We're all caught up on that. Okay. So. But,
all right. Well, that's. Did we cover Ida Lupino and then Miriam?
Ida Lupino,
and Miriam Hopkins.
Oh, back to making out with men in the balcony of a theater to the music of Max Steiner. Tennessee was working on what became Glass Menagerie, and he couldn't get the characters right. And he went to see Ida Lupino in a movie called The Hard Way, and he said, "Oh my God, that's Amanda." So he took his mother and a little bit of Ida Lupino, and that became Amanda. And this is probably a sin. What isn't? But I mean, if you're Catholic, this must be a big sin. I told this to a priest one time, and he crossed himself. Tennessee's up in the balcony making out with men, watching Song of Bernadette. And he turns at one point, and Jennifer Jones has a limp. Remember? And Gladys Cooper was so mean to her. And Charles Bickford.
I have a Gladys Cooper story.
and what they stop, you're drawing attention to yourself. And they raise her habit, and it turns out she has this horrible cancerous tumor on her leg. And she said nothing. She's been so full of faith and praying. And Gladys Cooper falls to her knees. This is Tennessee's version. I have not seen that movie in years. I don't know if this. But Gladys
terrible movie.
Gladys Cooper falls to her knees and says, "Oh my God, forgive me for being so cruel to this little girl," with her British accent. And so Tennessee went, "That's Laura." So a little bit of his sister Rose with Jennifer Jones in Song of Bernadette, and that was his way of explaining to me that I was a sophomore in college, and I said, "Tennessee, everyone tells me the same thing. Your chief influence is Chekhov." And he said, "Chekhov's okay. Nice man." He said, "But he learned more from George Stevens than he learned from Chekhov.
Place in the Sun director.
He was a movie man."
Can I tell the Gladys Cooper story?
Sure.
Do you know Gladys Cooper was an English character actress and very popular in England. And her sister wanted to be a thespian. And she made her debut, and she was wonderful. And everyone went backstage and told her to tell her how great she was, and she was in tears. And she said, "They hated me, they were hissing." And someone said, "No, they were just saying, it's Gladys Cooper's sister." It had nothing to do with anything. John Gielgud told me that story.
Everything has everything to do with everything.
Okay.
But Betty Davis I only knew her by telephone. Marion Seldes, who was my mentor, a really great influence in my life, set up a phone interview with Betty Davis in 1984. And I could not keep Betty Davis on the subject. I'll try to get back. It turned out because she didn't have a good time with Night Iguana. She did with me.
We had a great time together.
She didn't like Patrick O'Neill or Margaret Lee.
Well, no one liked Patrick O'Neill.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's Lake was nice.
Yeah, she said there was no connection, whatever. And I think,
Patrick was drinking.
yeah, but Madeline Sherwood, who later took over that part of Maxine, she said,
No, Shelley Winters.
but then Madeline was
Madeline.
under, yeah. I love the term they used back then, deputized. I think Madeline Sherwood deputized for the part of
Do
Maxine.
you all know who these names are that we're throwing out?
Yeah.
Because we are in the drama bookshop.
We should have brought slides.